extravaganza weekend. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. It will be spectacular. For ball, no higher seeded team outright won the head-to-head with the team they're matched up against in the first round. That's something. And for Stanley, the top teams in each conference have the 6th and 7th best odds to win it all. That's another thing. Anything is possible. Let's go around the horn. We start with the NBA. We start out west. I'm looking at these series, and we got drama. We got pressure. We got storylines on storylines. How lucky are we? I love everything about this. From all eyes on the Lakers, of course, with LeBron and Luka versus Minnesota, to the Nuggets, mid-upheaval versus the hot LA Clippers, to Golden State and their relaunch versus the Rockets, who are already in liftoff. And the least talked about one seed ever. I put that out there on you people. You have not nearly talked enough about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So as I ask for the most intriguing round one matchup out west, I go to my most intriguing panelist, David Dennis Jr.
I'll take it. For me, the most intriguing matchup is the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. On one side, you have the Nuggets, who have the best player in the world. They just got rid of their coach, and despite the year that Jokic is having, he may not get out of the first round. And then on the other side, you have this Clippers team that is this sort of cornucopia of chokes and worry about injuries and who is going to perform in the playoffs, and you're worrying about Harden, who may be able to rewrite his playoff legacy, and Kawhi Leonard, who everybody's waiting to be injured, who may not be injured, who, by the way, this team has only lost 2 games in the last 15, one to the Thunder and another when Kawhi didn't play against Cleveland. They are maybe the hottest team in the West. They might not make it out of the first round. There's going to be one of these two teams facing extreme disappointment in about a week and a half, and that's going to change the trajectory of both of these franchises.
Oh, intriguing. Nuggets, Clippers. Courtney Cronin around the horn to you. Most intriguing round one matchup in the West.
Well, it's intriguing. I thought we didn't talk about the Clippers enough for you on the show, Tony. So
that as well.
Diving right in on that. For me, it's a team that's been here before against a team that maybe we're not giving enough credit to. That's the 2-7 matchup, Rockets and Warriors. And, we should look at the Rockets as a team that's capable of hanging around with this Golden State Warriors team. They know how to get Steph Curry out of a rhythm. They did it in 2 of their last 3 games against the Warriors, which were wins. And they have a top 5 defense throughout the season. The Warriors, on the other hand, coming off, the game against Memphis in the play-in tournament where they squander a double-digit lead going into halftime, and then they're able to squeak out that win. They show they're a little vulnerable, but at the end of the day, when you take a look at Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, I trust that the Warriors have the guys that you want to get the ball to in crunch time. I don't know if the Rockets are there just yet, but if the Warriors aren't able to make it out of this series, we're talking about a complete disaster after they went out and got Jimmy Butler at the trade line to make a deep playoff run. I do think there's a lot at stake for the Warriors, but I like them in this matchup, and I'm intrigued to see what they do and how they bring it to the Rockets.
Intrigued is the word. Bob, Ryan, I go to you now. Round one matchup in the West.
To me, in the West, it's a photo of interest between the 2 older teams, the Lakers and the Warriors. I'll give it a photo finish lead to the Lakers because Los Angeles Lakers are eternally fascinating to the public. Everybody's intrigued with them. And this year they've added a layer to the whole story as they try to get back to where they once were with the whole Doncic trade, which is working out pretty damn well, in part because LeBron is making it work well by sacrificing his game to the way I thought he could and would. And they've got a 3rd star now in Reeves. And people out there are expecting something there, no question. And Warriors, we all know the Jimmy Butler trade is working out very, very well. And now they're old guys, last hurrah thing. And we saw how they got off the other night with 38 from Butler and 37 from Curry, et cetera. But to me, it's about, you can talk about anybody else, OKC, you can talk about Denver, you can talk about, but it's the Lakers. People care about the Lakers. They hate them or they love them, and it's the Lakers.
All right, the Respect Your Elders portion of the program. Well done, Bob Bryant. And Pablo Torre around the horn to you.
I didn't realize this was a democratic exercise. What are most people intrigued by? Yes, that is correct. Bob Ryan, of course, the oracle of basketball that he is, has it right on that. To me, I go to where we started. I go to the Nuggets, Tony, because I'm looking for what I've never seen before. We've never tested in an experimental way in the postseason what it means to fire your head coach right before you're supposed to go on a finals run with a player in Nikola Jokic, by the way, whose on-off court numbers are so dramatic as to suggest that maybe the Nuggets and their replacement GM, of course, replacing the GM they fired, Calvin Booth, might actually believe that the real coach on the floor is that guy, is Jokic himself. And so to me, we're going to get some real answers to big picture questions. What does coaching really matter when it comes to the postseason? How good can a player on the floor be when it comes to X's and O's and scheming up everything? And then on the other side, you just happen to have the guy that we like to say resembles physiologically Michael Jordan when he's healthy, but oftentimes isn't healthy enough to even be in the factor of a conversation. So to me, Clippers, Nugs, I am watching.
I'm interested in the pressure points here now, and I want to ask more specifically, Bob Bryan, I'll start with you. The player with the most pressure on them going into this round one matchup.
I think it's Doncic because he is not a perfect player. He's a guaranteed, almost guaranteed triple-double. But what the big technical question for the Lakers is, will they be able to cover him up on defense? How much will people be able to exploit his legendarily woeful defense? And that's going to be a big question. So I think it's Doncic.
Doncic for you, Pablo Torre?
I think it's Jimmy Butler individually.
Oh, you do?
The guy you get because of the postseason. No, I think it's because you get him for the postseason, and now it's time. Hey, was he worth all of the trouble he went through, to get out of where he was in Miami? And now, guess what? It's time to prove
David?
Afternoon Joe makes a good point, but I'm going to stick with the series that I'm talking about here, and that is Kawhi Leonard. This guy who everybody's been talking about for the last 5 years has been perpetually injured. We don't believe in him come playoff time, and he has been as healthy as he's been for the last half decade, and I don't know how many more chances he has of having a playoff run.
So in round one,
this.
you think there's the most pressure on Kawhi Leonard. And Courtney Cronin, around the horn to you.
I'll talk about the player from the team that we haven't talked about, the probable MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The early exit last year, a lot of people looking at this Thunder team, criticizing the fact that they don't have deep playoff experience. If you're going to win the MVP, you got to be able to get your team out of the first round on a deep playoff run.
And there is a panelist on the show actually acknowledging the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thank you very much for that, Courtney Cronin. Real quick, I want some picks going into the weekend. I know we're going to only have a month to talk about round one and round two and everything beyond in this NBA playoffs, but one pick you're sure of in this first round out west. Courtney Cronin, around the horn to you.
I am sure that Luka Doncic and his scouting ability are going to give the Los Angeles Lakers the formula that they need.
So you've got the Lakers, the 3 over the 6 in the first round. David Dennis Jr., how about you? A guarantee?
I'm going to go with who you're saying. We're not talking about OKC in a clean sweep. Does not matter who they're facing in the first round. 4 games in and out, a lot of rest in the second round.
That felt like real pandering from David, given that he was thinking using I agree with you there. I believe that the Lakers will handle the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Why did you say it with so much drama there? I don't know. And Bob Bryan, how about you?
I'll have what David's having. It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Okay. Sweep for OKC. We'll move on. The Eastern Conference has got an obvious pecking order played out through 82 games. You know Cleveland is the best. You know Boston is the defending champ. They're the 2 favorites in the conference. Pressure on them. Number 3 Knicks haven't beaten either of the teams above them in conference all year. They've beaten everybody else. There's tension with that team. And Pacers, Bucks, the intriguing 4-5. Indianapolis is favored. Indiana, excuse me. Milwaukee now clearing Lillard to play, but he will not play game 1. But there's expectations on that franchise as well. I ask you, Mr. Bob Bryan, who has the most pressure on them in round 1 in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, I think it's the Lakers, the Celtics to repeat. I think because they're going in almost perfectly healthy with the possible exception of Jaylen Brown's knee, and he's got a week to get ready. And there are people around here that are framing it championship or bust. I never do a thing like that because I once covered a 68-win team that didn't win because John Havlicek got hurt. You don't know what's going to happen. There are too many variables. But if every team plays their A game, the Boston Celtics will repeat.
Oh, there we go. So that is a Bob Bryan guarantee. But you believe there is pressure then on the Celtics team right now? Yes, because of external influence,
internal, maybe? Internal, absolutely. People were
internal.
Championship or bust. I hate that.
Pablo Torre, who's got the most pressure in the East Conference for you?
I wish I could take back my previous answer. The thing I'm most sure of was that Bob Ryan was going to mention John Havlicek in this topic. To me, I'm staying local. I'm going with the Knicks. Tony, 0-10 against the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Pacers. They have not beaten the teams that they need to beat to advance. They play a Pistons team that is designed seemingly to humiliate you with physicality. The Knicks right now face the problem of high expectations because of last year, but no appreciation for anything short of what feels like exceeding those expectations. And so to me, it is a recipe for disaster. I'm picking the Knicks. They're clearly the most pressurized.
David Dennis Jr.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Pablo here on the fact that it is the Knicks. You said who's coming out of the first round with the most pressure. It's got to be New York. If you lose to this Detroit team in the first round, when you have put all of these picks and all these moves to get to being the best team in the East, that is going to be a disaster, and you're looking at a coach that is going to be on the hot seat if you do not get out of this first round. You already have an uphill climb against Boston and Cleveland, who have dominated you in the regular season, but you have to at least get to that round of the playoffs to face those guys.
Most pressure round one, Eastern Conference. Courtney Cronin, around the horn to you.
We're one long-form magazine feature away from Giannis pondering his future elsewhere outside of Milwaukee, Tony. If they end up losing this series to the Indiana Pacers, that'd be back-to-back years with first-round losses to Indiana. We know that they only beat them by 9 points combined in 3 games this season. The Milwaukee Bucks are in danger of wasting another MVP-level season from Giannis Antetokounmpo. They've spent so much money on this roster, $945 million since they last won a championship. If they lose this series, they're
But they did win a championship at one point. Okay. But more pressure on the Bucks than the Knicks and the Celtics, as your fellow colleagues had argued before you. Interesting from Cronin. One guarantee, one thing you're sure of will go down in the Eastern Conference in round one. Cronin, first to you.
Pistons are going to beat the Knicks. They've got the best player in that series.
Bob Ryan, to you.
Knicks will be exposed.
You could set your clock to it. 2 weeks in, you find yourself saying, this is the most raucous playoff in all of sports. But to that point, how do you even begin to set the favorites this year? Winnipeg. When you're a Jet all the way. I say to you and only you, Bob Ryan. Best record, President's Trophy, 6th best odds. Washington, best of the East, 7th best odds. Betting line favorites, Avalanche, then defending champ, Panthers. Courtney Cronin, I'm asking for the Cronin favorite, please.
Tony, I know that you love and live for my flaming hot hockey hot takes, but I'm going with the Winnipeg Jets, the President's Trophy winner, the thing that's supposed to have a curse around it, to win it all this year. They're going to be the first Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup this century. And I know Connor Hellebuyck is a great regular season goalie. He's maybe the best goalie in the NHL. Not so much in the postseason the last couple of years, but they flipped the script on their first-round loss to the Avalanche last year, and they win it all.
So you believe the favorite should be the team that had the best regular season. David Dennis Jr., who's your favorite?
I believe the favorite is the team that just won the Stanley Cup championship, and that is the Florida Panthers. I know there's concern about 3 deep playoff runs and some of the durability of that team, but they're getting Ekblad back, they're getting Kachuk back, they are going to be healthy, and they are a deep team. 5 players have 20 or more points in this season. They have the depth to overcome some of that, wear and tear.
I think it's 5 players, 20 or more goals this season. Pablo Torre, around the horn to you, your favorite.
At the risk of going full Kalishaw, I'm taking the Dallas Stars at plus 1,000. I am taking them knowing, yes.
Do you know how they got into this postseason, Pablo? Please.
No, they've lost 7 in a row. Not great, as I am losing 7 points, it seems, for saying that. They've been in 3 of the last 5 Western Conference Finals, kept the core together, got Mikko Rantanen playing his old team in the Avalanche, Jason Robertson, injured but Filipino.
Yes,
I mean,
but
that's a pretty good deal, all things considered. All things considered,
it's a fine argument to be made. Have you ever seen
bet.
a team go into a postseason on a losing streak like they're in right now and be named a favorite to win it all by a panelist? I haven't, but I appreciate it.
With that attitude.
With that type of attitude, no. Bob Wright, how about you?
Well, I'm going hard overhead, and I'm also going all Tevier on you. Would it spoil some vast, eternal plans if the Toronto Maple Leafs could win for the first time since the year of love, summer of love in 1967? What team has more firepower up front than Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and William Nylander? Now the pressure is going to be on the young goalies Stolars and Woll, but maybe they can resurrect Terry Sawchuk, the netminder in '67. that may be a lock.
Wow. If you'd be a rich man if you bet on them. They're not one of the favorites either, but they're your favorite, Bob Ryan. I think you're giving me your best story. I think, Pablo, you're giving me the best story. I'm not sure if you're giving me the favorite at this moment in the league, but we'll move on. Buy or sell two. If his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this discussion. Who said it? Deion Sanders, of course, about his son, Shedeur Sanders, and the criticism around Shedeur and Travis Hunter having their Colorado numbers retired. Criticism even coming from within the house. Former Buffalo players wondering how do the 5th and 6th jerseys to go up ever come from players who just ended their career 4 months ago. Pablo, what do you buy, what do you sell from this jersey retiring kerfuffle?
I buy the quote. I buy the literalism of it. Yeah, this is the most Deion Sanders story ever because the last name Sanders is involved, and it's only enabled because of the name. And yes, if you are somebody who really does care that the company of Rashaan Salam should be more exclusively guarded, then I get it. I totally get it. But the whole Deion Sanders name, Tony, is about looking at the future. What can I get? How can I monetize it as opposed to looking at the past? And so I get it. I buy the name. I buy the strategy for that.
Bob Ryan?
I agree with you that we wouldn't be talking about this if it weren't for the fact that the coach's name is Sanders. This is total inside Buffalo baseball. I don't care. You don't care. None of us really care. We wouldn't be having this conversation if the Colorado administration had not sold its soul to Deion Sanders. It's one more attempt to placate Deion Sanders.
Okay.
Nothing to do
but
with
to your point, that we don't care. That's fine. I'm talking about Colorado players, former players, from the championship team 30 years ago. Like, wait a second, we're retiring jerseys now? 3 months after retirement of your career? You don't think they can be upset about this?
I think it's important, of course, to them. Yes, very important.
Okay, I'm not even sure what we're disputing here. But Courtney Cronin, around the horn to you.
If we were just talking about Travis Hunter, the unicorn that he is, their Heisman Trophy winner from last season, this wouldn't feel like a version of Daddy Ball because Shedeur Sanders is being invoked here too, and his jersey is also being retired. That's Deion's prerogative. They are a relevant team now in college football, in large part because of those two players. But if they're in, so should Cordell Stewart be, so should Eric Bieniemy, and all the other players
that's the point,
that have not been put into, that have not had their jerseys retired. But that's on the football program all the years before Deion Sanders to get that right and to have done that.
This is old African proverb, do not hate the player, hate the game. Don't be mad that Deion Sanders has pushed through his choices to get retired, their jersey retired now. Get mad at the fact that you've had 3 decades to have all of these stars and all these people that you believe should have retired, have their jersey retired, and it has not happened yet. That is not Deion's fault. He can't retroactively make that right. They should have been raising this fuss many, many years ago.
David Dennis Jr., thank you for your time. Afternoon Joe, thank you for your time.